is Taylor, a master level employee at Pillars of Wellness in Hobart. Today you are joining us in our series of coping with anxiety, depression, and PTSD. Today we will be talking about anger management. We'll be covering what anger is and different tips and skills for coping with anger. Anger is a basic human emotion. It is natural to feel from time to time. Anger varies from person to person, but some events that may contribute to anger include having an important goal blocked, perceiving a physical or emotional threat, physical or emotional pain, including stress. There are many words to describe anger, including rage, annoyance, frustration, hostility. These are more specific words that can be used to describe the type of anger you are experiencing. Now, we're going to consider some things. In your family, what emotions do people freely express? What emotions do they keep hidden? Thinking about how anger was dealt with in your family growing up, was it something you were allowed to express? Was it frowned upon to express that anger? Were you maybe even told, well, I'll give you something to cry about if you continue to cry? Those are all things that can lead to us dealing with anger in a certain way when we become adults. Anger is sometimes used to mask emotions that make people feel more vulnerable. Think to a time that you might have expressed anger in order to conceal another emotion you were feeling. Anger is often the tip of the iceberg. There are other emotions that may be hidden beneath the surface, including feelings of feeling overwhelmed, embarrassment, frustration, pain, or even feelings of hunger and tired. So this is often thinking back to just the last question about how other emotions can make us feel vulnerable. We move to expressing anger because it can be an easier emotion to express compared to the feelings of deep pain. Now, anger is not inherently a negative emotion, despite what you may have been told. Anger can tell us something. Some of the benefits of anger is that it can signal that something is wrong, such as a threat or perceived unfairness. It provides energy to right a wrong. It can trigger problem-solving capabilities and give us the courage to change. Now, some cost of anger is it can cause discomfort, impair performance at higher levels, and it can compromise your health. Now we're going to spend some time talking about anger cues. Anger cues are a way that our body signals to us that we are getting angry and getting to that point of possible explosion. So there are different cues, including physical cues, and that is how your body responds. Physical cues may be a red face, sweating, racing and pounding heartbeat. We also have behavioral cues, which is what you do. And this could be a loud voice, clenching your fist, or pacing. Emotional cues are other feelings that come along with anger. So thinking back to the anger iceberg about how there are other emotions hidden beneath the surface, those emotions are your emotional cues. And then we have cognitive cues, which are what you think about in response to the event. It's important to talk about these cues because it signals to us that we are getting to that point of feeling angry. So noticing these is an important step in managing your anger. So there are unconscious and conscious processes that are involved in expressing anger. There's expression, which you can do in a respectful and assertive way. And doing so assertively means that you get your wants and needs across to the other person without violating the rights of others. Suppression is another way, which is converting or redirecting your anger, holding it in and focusing on something positive. However, the downside to suppression is that anger can turn inward, causing depression or high blood pressure. Unexpressed anger can create problems, such as passive-aggressive behavior or a personality that appears hostile. You can also calm yourself down by controlling outward and internal responses. You can do this through breathing techniques and relaxation techniques. And we'll talk more about some of those later on in the presentation. Before we get into some skills for managing anger, here are some tips. The goal is to reduce your emotional feelings and physiological arousal. You want to recognize anger and warning signs early, such as, does your body or hand shake? Do you scream? Have heavy breathing? And you want to explore what's behind the anger. Is it really because your partner didn't do the dishes, or because you feel like you're the one picking up the slack in the house all the time? You can identify your triggers by creating a list of your triggers. It isn't always possible to avoid your triggers, so have a plan when you must face them. Now we're going to talk about some skills for managing your anger. The first one is the power of pause, and this stands for stop. So the steps are, you want to stop what you are doing emotionally and physically. Take a breath. And there's a breathing technique that we're going to talk about here in a moment. Observe what is going on around you and what is going on inside of you. What feelings and sensations, thoughts are coming and going. And then you want to proceed. You want to proceed mindfully in doing what will calm you down in that moment. Some ways that you can cool down is deep breathing. One technique is 4 seconds inhale through your nose, 7 seconds hold, and 8 seconds exhale through pursed lips. Now there's lots of different breathing techniques that you can use, but I like this one because the exhale is longer than your inhale, which can help calm down your parasympathetic nervous system. You can also exercise, use visualization, but when you visualize, you want to use your 5 senses. So maybe you imagine a relaxing, peaceful spot where you feel at home and calm down. Well, you don't want to just imagine the beach. You want to feel the gritty sand beneath your feet. You want to hear the seagulls squawking in the air. You want to smell the salty ocean. You really want to put yourself in that place. You can use humor to relieve tension, but you want to avoid laughing off your problems or using harsh and sarcastic humor. You can use distractions such as going for a walk, playing a game, calling a friend, and you can take a time out. Now, taking a time out is an opportunity to cool down, not an opportunity to avoid the problem. So you are going to return to the problem in a set time frame. But it is okay to recognize, hey, I'm getting too heated right now. I need to take a break and come back to this. You can also keep an anger diary or angry log. This will allow you to identify patterns, warning signs, and triggers. Take note of what happened before the anger episode, what actually did occur, and what thoughts and feelings came up during the anger episode. So if you look here on the left, we have an example of an angry diary. It notes the triggers, warning signs, such as before I got really angry, I noticed that my hands were shaking and I was argumentative. So hand shaking, that's a physical cue. Being argumentative is a behavioral cue. Then as I got angrier, my face felt really hot. Once again, a physical cue. And it records the anger response and then the outcome. You can also use the skill of RAIN, which is a mindfulness exercise, and what it stands for is R, recognize. Recognize your thoughts, feelings, and physical sensations. A is allow. Allow yourself to observe your experience. Let your thoughts, feelings, and sensations come and go like clouds in the sky. Let go of any judgment. I is investigate. What words are going through your mind? What feelings are you feeling in your mind and body? And then N stands for nurture. Be kind towards your experience. Give yourself affirmations such as, even though I am angry right now, I am not an angry person. Or I am strong for standing up for myself. Let in calmness, healing, and compassion until you feel centered. You can also engage in cognitive restructuring, which is changing the way you think. People who are angry tend to curse or speak irrationally and from exaggerated tones. You want to watch words like never or always, also known as black or white thinking, because this makes the anger appear justified and contribute to the belief that there's no way to solve the problem. And these are my references. So thank you for joining us today on our series of coping with anxiety, depression, and PTSD, and learning more about anger management.